This presentation is for Reading 520, Professor M.J. Sung, Grand Canyon University. My name is Tanya Hogan, and I have been in education for 10 years. 1 year as a reading paraprofessional, 7 years as a first grade teacher, with 1 year being a kindergarten first grade split. I have worked mostly with primary grades, and that will help me in the upcoming year as a kindergarten teacher. This presentation is for relating writing to the 5 components of reading, assessments and their importance, and how a reading specialist can help support students and teachers in the classroom. The 5 components of reading are phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. When you work with these all together, and when you have them relate with writing, it equals mastery across the board. Writing is simply the written practice of communicating our thoughts, whether it's about a text we have read or a subject we are learning about. A strategy I have used is asking students to free write for a certain amount of time and giving them the opportunity to choose what they write about and explore new techniques. Following this up with meeting with the teacher at a conference about their writing can give opportunity for individualized instruction. Phonics is learning the letters or combinations of letters that produce a sound. Learning phonics helps us spell words correctly when writing. Visual representations of letters and pictures of common objects can help students make connections with the sound of a grapheme. For example, cat, see, k is a common card that we see for ABCs. Something I use with my first grade students look like these, where it has the color for a different letter or sound that we're working on. So we know that snails are slow, thus it has slow with "ly" at the end as the suffix. Another suffix we work on is full, and we can see this girl is pretty cheerful, and by the end of first grade they often know the word cheer, so they can relate it with cheerful. Phonemic awareness is a practice of separating blending phonemes, which are the smallest unit of sound. This helps us understand words and sound out unknown words or multisyllabic words. Having phonemic awareness can aid in spelling as well, because if you know the sounds of a word at the end, beginning, or middle, you can think of other words that may be spelled that way. For example, boat and goat. We know they rhyme, so it is good to think about that they could be OAT at the end. Something that may help in phonemic awareness is teaching common nursery rhymes and songs to encourage the practice of rhyming words. Also, adding a physical element can help with segmenting and blending. So, for example, if you have students move their finger from the top of their arm to the bottom while they sound out a word, they can think about the beginning, middle, and end sounds. So, for example, k, a, t. Vocabulary refers to the words academic or relating to the topic that may be unfamiliar. Vocabulary highly affects comprehension because if a reader does not understand at least 95% of the words being read, it negatively affects comprehension. Vocabulary can be used in writing to improve comprehension, as well as making connections to the subject or text that has been being written about. Having students act out or draw representations of vocabulary words can aid students in making connections to the vocabulary. Comprehension refers to reading to make meaning and understanding. As you write, you can convey your comprehension by expanding on ideas or defining ideas from the text. Comprehension is very clearly related to vocabulary knowledge and development. It's important that students understand vocabulary as a part of comprehension. Something that can help students in comprehension is writing about text in many different ways, such as sequences, main ideas, or what can happen next. Fluency is the ability to decode words with speed and accuracy to increase understanding. When reading, fluency also affects the voice, rate, and intonation with which you read. When writing, you can show fluency by recognizing and writing high-frequency words quickly. To help gain fluency, read-aloud text and audio recordings can be helpful to many students. It would be important to support word recognition and explicitly teaching decoding skills for faster decoding. Assessments and progress monitoring is important to show if or how a student is progressing, and it helps teachers to shape whole group and small group instruction. An obvious strategy is getting to know your students so well you are able to understand their motivation in reading and their strengths and weaknesses. As a teacher, one would be able to notice patterns easier from a student if they know them well. Using common templates or creating a document that works for you to centralize data in one place is a great strategy. This can simplify making groups or checking patterns with a set of students. Checking patterns within progress monitoring or assessments can show a teacher what skills are missing with students or if a certain skill needs to be retaught. One template from our text is a comprehension template where teachers can make notes on aspects that students can comprehend from a text, do's and grades. Informal assessments and daily progress monitoring can be taken through specific worksheets or activities to match a skill. Rather than subject students to intense state assessments or full diagnostics, teachers can use these informal assessments to measure which skills are missing. ReadingRockets.com is a free resource that gives articles and videos on many different subjects, but specifically for struggling readers and writers. It caters to many audiences, so if a parent, teacher, or school counselor has a need or a question, they can navigate the site easily. A reading specialist should support by providing professional development as needed, providing resources school-wide or through the community, and informing stakeholders. Being able to communicate the importance of certain reading components and assessments supports teachers because stakeholders of the school may be able to better support their students when informed. Providing professional development on best instructional practices can aid teachers in helping their students succeed and help the classroom be more efficient. Thank you.